Hello, welcome to a video for Recondo Jungle Combat Specialist from G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra Wave 2. Before we go ahead and start with the viewing of the package, I want to go ahead and say that in the order that I'm doing this, I just recently did a Zartan video, so if you're watching this in order or at the same time that I'm uploading them, then you already know that, but just in case. So far with me, in my opinion, Pursuit of Cobra has done a pretty good job with doing things that, whether it was intentional or not, they've found a way of taking the classic look of a G.I. Joe character and then updating it or keeping some parts of the figure the same and yet making it still feel new, fresh, and exciting and interesting. Now, Recondo is one of those ones that I'm not sure. I think I'm okay with him. I don't really have a problem, but from what I've seen, some people aren't okay with Recondo. I don't have an original Recondo figure, but wanted to go ahead and show that they did come out with a defense and an attack or assault on Cobra, like I think it was a 7-pack or something like that. And this is what Recondo looked like closely to the 80s, or, this is at least what he looked like in the assault and defense of Cobra Island pack. So here we've got what Recondo looks like, closer to the classic look than the Recondo that is in the package. This is Recondo now. So you can see, looks great here, even though rather plain. But here, he's got so much more going on with him. But before we go into that, we'll go back to the package. But I just wanted to say that for right now, this is a figure that I'm okay with, but from what I've seen, some people aren't too happy with this figure. But there's some other issues with the figure that we'll talk about later. So anyway, let's go ahead and go back to the package. So we have Recondo in his package here. We have the new G.I. Joe logo for this universe. It's different than the one that was for Rise of Cobra and previous lines of G.I. Joe. Then we have along here in yellow Recondo. They're calling him the Jungle Combat Specialist. I'm not sure if he's always been that, but we'll get into that again later. And then we have a picture or portrait of what Recondo looks like for Pursuit of Cobra. And then if it will stay up for me, we have the G.I. Joe logo that's been updated for this line. And then we have Recondo's figure number, which is 1011, and then put the camera down here. And then again, with most of the figures, you've got a nice big bubble here. It shows off all his accessories, and I think he's probably the first one, maybe Snow Job also, but you actually see every single accessory that he comes with. He's got two kind of bear traps. So those are definitely a kind of, I don't want to say evil, but definitely a harsh way, but I guess in combat, that's one way of, stopping those cobras that obviously aren't going to be nice to you. Obviously, they're going to try and take you down too, so I guess bear traps are kind of an humane way of slowing somebody down. It could be worse. And then he's got a gun here that he's got strapped to his arm. Some people are very happy with that, though, because originally they were strapping them in their hands, and that was messing up the hands. So having it being held on the arm makes some people happy. Then he's got one of the axes here, or a tomahawk, and then also an axe and tomahawk type of thing here. And then you've got the figure Recondo, his trademark hat. I can't think of the name for that hat. And then a mask. The mask is one of those things that kind of makes you go, what does he need that for? But again, I see it along the lines as some of the other accessories, like the one that came with Destro. I can't think of any of them right now, but it's another one of those things that imagination, the kids and even some adult grown-ups, since we're not being told why this is in there, lots of people are coming up with ideas of what that is for and what he's using it for, and so I think that's nice. I like that. So then we have a gun here. It kind of looks like a sniper type rifle, and it's got some bandaging and stuff on it. And then he's got a kind of antenna, electronical yet kind of mishmash backpack here, and we'll get a better look at those after we get it out of the package. But like I said, pretty much everything is being able to seen. You can even see his stand this time. Normally the stand is put down here, but they've actually got it back there. That's what that black thing is. And the catalog also. Forgot to show that in the Zartan one, but pretty much if you've seen one video of mine or a video of anybody else's, the catalogs so far are exactly the same. The picture sometimes in the front is a little bit different, but then let's see, what else can we say? Well, we know about the TV network, but in case you're seeing this for the first time, your new TV network hub is Hasbro's network. It's already live now, but most people that collect G.I. Joe or Transformers, they're still waiting for Transformers Prime, I believe is what it's being called, for the Transformers, and G.I. Joe Renegades is for G.I. Joe. I don't know so much about the Transformers side, but some people think the cartoon will show up in Thanksgiving-ish time, which would be good. People would be home for the holidays and sitting around the TV and everything, so maybe that is a good idea. But it's also been mentioned that it might be shown in November 10th. But originally we all thought it was going to be October 10th, 2010. So you can remove this sticker if you think it's getting in the way of seeing that bear trap. This one kind of has to stay there, but I think that's pretty much all for the front of the box. So if we go to the back of the box, you'll see Recondo's number again, his name. Visit GIJoe.com, which has been updated for this line, and just like the hub, I'm sure has some games and wallpapers and all that kind of stuff that you can check out. Then we have in this yellow box, normally it's red for the Cobras, but we've got it in a yellow for the G.I. Joe. And you may not be able to see it too well, but there are kind of continents and a world type map in there. So kind of like where it's a little bit darker here and a little lighter here. That's because this is one of the continents and so on. So anyway, in this description we have G.I. Joe is the code name for a special operations unit of highly trained men and women. Their purpose is to defend the world against Cobra, a ruthless organization with criminal tentacles in every nation on Earth. So far, no female figures have been released for this line. Then if you go over here, you've got one of the 4 missions for this line. You have Jungle, Desert, Arctic, and City. So for the Pursuit of Cobra, or the Pursuit of Cobra mission, Jungle Assault, is the G.I. Joe team discovers a Cobra Terradome fortress covered with indestructible armor. Again, if you've never seen any of my videos, I don't do, in my opinion, reviews, even though people are very kind and are very nice to put that as a compliment or a comment. So I do thank you, but in case you're thinking, why is this guy still talking about all this kind of stuff and he's 10 minutes into the video? I'm doing more of trying to think of thoughts that come in my head and then giving more of a idea of what kind of talk and post and forums and stuff like that I see. So this is obviously going to be a second video, but for this one Right now, it's saying the indestructible Terradome is covered. So right now, people are wondering, are we going to get a Terradome? Um, just from past history, I don't think we will. Or if we do, it's not going to be anywhere near the size that it was. I mean, maybe they'll use it in Renegades, and that will be a way to get the Terradome, but I don't see us getting a Terradome before uh, this line ends unless it runs simultaneously with Renegades, which many people doubt. I think they're just using Terradome so they have that holding on to the trademark, and then it's kind of a instead of saying fortress, they could say Terradome. And if you don't know what that is, then definitely do a Google search or a yojo.com. Go on there, you can find that information. But it's basically the Cobra Fortress that most older collectors from the 80s know. And so it's just kind of a little wink, in my opinion, to what you would expect Cobra to be in. Plus, one of the comics was all about them building Terradomes all around at least one continent. So again, just tying things together, I think. So normally behind a G.I. Joe box, you would have all the different figures in little boxes of what's being planned or has already came out for the line. This time they chose to go for more of a diorama look. I think it's nice though, because most of the time people talk about, well, if there's not a cartoon going, then kids aren't going to buy these figures. So I think by making it, more of a movie kind of action photo here, it makes the kids maybe want to get these figures and then go and play in the dirt and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking who we've got here is the driver that comes with the vamp, and then we've got Duke right there from Wave 1 also. Then there are a few Jungle Vipers right there, very well hidden. And then I'm thinking there's one also back there, right about there. But he doesn't have his ghillie suit. I believe that's how you pronounce that. So then the other thing that's kind of tough about this figure, if you're an old school collector, is these... Alright, so the phone liked to stop right there, so we'll try and edit these together. So the next thing I was going to say is you have these kind of clearance ID badges. Really trying the best not to call them file cards, because this is actually a file card. This is Recondo's. It's actually no longer part of the package. They came individually, so you didn't have to ruin the package or cut them out or anything. But this is the the assault on Cobra Island file card that came with this version of Recondo that doesn't have his hat on, but we'll talk about that later. So you do still have the same file name on both of these. Have the social security number, and you got to give him props for that. At least the social security number is the same. He's got the same grade on both of these cards. So for here you get primary military specialty. He's in infantry. And then they also give you second military specialty, which is intelligence. But they also go into telling you his birthplace in the old school one. They don't mention that in this clearance ID badge. Instead, you get what his favorite mission equipment is. And we'll get into that in a second here. But just to give you an idea of what the differences are, for this Recondo, it says, Recondo hates the cold. He'd rather battle Cobra fortresses in the hottest regions on the planet than spend 1 minute in a cold climate. He's become one of the top experts in jungle combat and has taught recruits at Jungle Warfare Training Center, where he portrayed the remote, unforgiving tropical forest as a place of extreme danger and extreme magnificence. He uses the skills honed on countless jungle missions to fight Cobra forces on any terrain. He works with the environment to outmaneuver, overwhelm, or confuse the enemy so that he has the advantage. And then it's even got a little quote. If you go into the jungle prepared to fight, you'll lose. If you make your peace with the bugs, snakes, and heat, then you've got half a chance. And we're going to go ahead and stop here because I think I'm out of time, and we will see you in video number 2. Bye.